Hello folks, it's Duncan again at Free as an Eagle with the A-frame build. We're just starting to get into the heart of the real construction of this. This is Monday, June 23rd maybe? Anyway, I was here with my brother Al on Saturday, did a video, and we got caught in a downpour, and when I went to find the video later to upload it, it wasn't there. There was a little 1 second blip of something and the video I'd taken was gone, so I'm going to catch you up on what we did then and what we did today. As you can see, we've got a whole bunch of Doug fir floor joists laying across the girder that we installed Saturday. I'm going to get down and video through this window hole just to explain what we did Saturday. That video is not in existence. So if you look underneath here, you'll see the posts that we set up. These are 8x8s. They're overkill, quite heavy, but didn't want to fool around here. We have a girder that's a triple 2x10 Doug fir, and we assembled this on top of these posts, which are dreadfully heavy. That was the hardest thing we've done yet, is just carrying those posts around and cutting them. But we installed those, and then the beams actually go into these pockets. You can see we had to shim them up a little bit. I went with a triple 2x10, figuring on a 12-foot span that's adequate, and I nailed the crap out of it to really beef this right up. So that's quite strong. I put some pressure-treated shims under the beams to bring right up to the same level as the green plates. And miraculously, the foundation guys did a really nice job. Everything was within like literally 1/8 to 1/4 inch around the foundation. Everything is nice and square, and that'll be much appreciated when we get to the point of laying plywood on this deck, because 24 by 36 feet is an exact multiple of 4 by 8 sheets of plywood. So we'll end up with zero waste, which is one of the goals that I had in doing this, was to minimize waste. They sent us this Doug fir wood. It's not terrific. I'm going to make sure the rafter wood is better. Some of these are good, some of them are not too good or cracked, so we had to reject quite a little pile, which I'll zoom onto. So this pile includes some that are really in rough shape and cracked, and we won't be able to use. Some of them we'll use sections of that are good and return some of the not so good wood. But anyway, so I just covered everything up. We're due for more rain today. It's sort of playing a game of dodge the showers. I have a unit of plywood over there, 3/4 inch fir plywood that will be full dimension, 3/4 inch, nice and strong. So anyway, what we did here, so the green plates are bolted down and secured, and we did the layout marks, which I'll zoom in so you can kind of see this. So what you do when you're going to be putting plywood on something is you start with your tape and you go about 15 1/4 inches, and that represents where the joist is going to go, so that the plywood ultimately lands. When you go 4 feet out, it lands right in the middle of a floor joist, or on this case on a green plate, and that way the seams are evenly resting on joists, so it's very strong that way. And as you can see, these joists have been laid out, and these are not nailed yet obviously, but we just cut them today and laid them out. And what our plan tomorrow is, it's supposed to be really sunny, so all these will be tipped up. You can see arrows on these. So with wood, we do something called crowning, and basically if the wood has a tendency to be a little bit, like a bow in wood is sort of if you tip it up on edge, if it goes left or right, it's a bow. If it goes up or down, it's a crown. And the idea is to put the high part up, and the weight of everything bearing down will flatten it. So you want to start with the crown like an arched bridge, and then when it has to bear weight, it'll tend to eventually settle down with the weight of all the plywood, and eventually some walls. Things should settle down nicely. This plan with an A-frame is interesting because the fact that it's an A, all the roof-bearing weight is pretty much transferred directly to the very outer edges of this joist box, and will transfer right to the foundation. So the interior pressure on the floor is very light. The second floor, it will be basically joists that are going across the A and will bear on the rafters only, so there won't be any downward load on anything below, which is pretty cool. So you're going to have a few walls for the bedroom on the other side, the bathroom and the kitchen, so they won't be bearing very much weight. So this thing is going to be adequately strong in each way. So anyway, here's the situation that you see so far. This front one here, you can see some holes cut. That's where the J bolts that came up through that secure the green plates come up through. They happen to intersect with a double joist we're putting out here, and the reason we're doubling this outer one is we're going to hang the porch off of it. Well, it's a small porch, but you still want to have enough strength so when you hang a ledger board off of it, it can carry the weight. And then on the outside you can see there's piers here, so there'll be a girder across those piers holding up the front of the porch. I'll walk down to where the deck side is, because we're also, while we're doing this, we're going to jump on the deck probably next week. And the wood for the deck is stashed under here. Let's see if I can peel this up and find it. Yeah, so that's the ends of 6x6s. That's the ends of 2x8s. That will be the joists, 8 feet long to go from. This is the woods facing side of the little house. I got some junk here, but anyway, that cement board, when it's finished, we're going to have the whole joist box sit above this. It will have a double outer plate, and off of that will hang a piece of pressure treated. And then out here where these piers are, there's 3 piers out on this end, for the simple reason that this is going to be 18 feet long, for reasons I'll explain later. But the overhang is going to be quite high at the top of this part of the building to keep extra sunlight out in the summer. So the roof overhang will be fully 8 feet out, and it'll partially shelter this little deck. So this will be kind of a nice feature. We'll have a nice slider out on this end. So yeah, we got some work done today. We'll be back tomorrow. The weather's supposed to be really nice, 82 and sunny. So we'll sweat a little bit, but we'll get hopefully this whole joist box built. We got these two just standing up because they are just standing there, and they stayed there. So all of them will be upright like that. All of them will be on layout lines, and we'll build a box around the whole perimeter. That wood hasn't been cut yet, but by the end of tomorrow, the hope is to have all this nailed together and begin putting plywood on it. And then what we're going to do to keep water out and protect the plywood is, when the plywood is down, if it stays dry, we're going to take some oil-based polyurethane, random buckets we bought at stores that happen to be kicking around and weren't too expensive. We're going to mix them together and lay a whole layer of polyurethane on the plywood floor deck so it resists water penetration. And then, of course, one of the problems we ran into Saturday, we got caught in some pretty good downpours, and I ended up putting I'm getting my fingers in the way of the camera again. So I have a little utility pump down there I brought up, and we plugged that into the back of Al's truck. He's got an onboard inverter, so we could run that little pump, and that would pump the water out. So we had a few inches of water in here. I skipped the step of putting a floor drain in, thinking that I wouldn't. Eventually, probably won't need it. I don't expect this basement will take on any water, but having no drain, we had no choice but to pump that out. But it worked, so we were able to keep working. And got our feet wet, but it didn't slow us down too much. But anyway, that's where we're at. We've made some nice progress, and hopefully by the end of this week, we'll have this floor deck completely built, and then I'll put the order in for the upper framing. So once we jump on that, it'll start to look like a building. Right now it looks sort of like a bunker, and it's nice and solid down here. So getting excited. We're getting to a point where we're actually ready to get that A frame up and put a roof on it and the decks and porches on it, and it'll become a house. So anyway, that's a catch up for today, and I will report back after we get this all built. Have a good day.